Right, let's see what's going on. Morning, Caroline. Yes, you can hear me. Great. Great. Right, let's start. I'm not sure what screen this is. All new for me, so here I go. Let's go to the screen, maybe, and I'll see if I can see your comments. Oh, hi, Liz. Hi, Amanda. Amanda, I sent you a DM this morning. I think there's a slight delay, but let's wait and see. I'll come back and check on the comments. So anyway, welcome. I am super excited to be here. This is our first live session for Wow Month. And, this week we're really going to uncover the business fundamentals, or the business foundations that, sometimes we forget about or leave behind, or we just in such a hurry of hustle mode that we overlook them. So I'm super excited to be diving into those with you today. So today we've got a powerful session all about your successful mindset. So creating a successful mindset. And I think probably this is one of the ones that can be overlooked because we are in that hustle mode. So a little about what's going to happen is every day you're going to get an assignment or a little bit of homework. So it's not too big, it's not going to take you long, it'll be a minute, maybe two at the most, and to just help you install some of the things that we're teaching, and just to put you getting you to take those right actions. And plus, when you do those assignments and you comment in the Facebook group, then you go in the draw to win one of our prizes as well. So last week we gave away some really cool prizes, so super excited we're going to be giving away more of the same. So this week we're giving away a lifetime pass to our members club, a 12-month pass to our members club, 6-month pass to the members club, a 3-month pass, and a 90-minute breakthrough session with me. And then we've got our new client promotional marketing kits as well. So let me know where you are from. It's very warm here in Hawke's Bay this morning. So Amanda, Liz, Chris, let me know where you're from. Say hi. If you're watching the replay, then say hi as well, and let me know where you're tuning in from. So this week, I really want to encourage you to ask any questions that come up, like, no question is a silly question or anything like that, because I think sometimes we can sit on something and it can hold us back from moving forward, because we don't have that answer to that question. So, I want to answer everybody's questions. I'm here cheering you on. So please answer the questions, ask a question. We've got a questions post as well. So on Friday, I will be doing a Q&A. So I'll be answering any questions that arise or come up from there. So let's get going. So I want to talk about how this sort of challenge came up for me. So given that 2020 was a bit of a weird year, and given that some countries are finding this quarter a little bit harder too, a little bit of a challenge as well, I was sort of like talking to a lot of salon owners and reflecting on my salon journey when I first bought my salon, and what happened in those first 6 months. And there was so much excitement of having a new salon, and wanting to be the best salon in town. And I'd open my doors and I just expected everybody to come, because why wouldn't they? We give amazing service, we're great, like we know so many people, why wouldn't people just come to us? But unfortunately it doesn't quite work that way. And in the means of opening up the doors and no one, not no one, but not having my expectations met, I got into that whole hustle mode. And I think we do that because we're fearful of, failing, and we're fearful of, not having enough money, and, we're fearful of what other people think of us as well. So just talking to every salon owners and other business owners around there is that real whole of we go into this whole hustle mode, and especially when there's big challenges happening and we can see things going wrong, not going how we wanted to, not wrong, because there is no right and wrong, it just happens, then you know, what do? We go into this really reactive mode. So it's really about uncovering, you know, those foundational and fundamental pieces that we need to put into our business so that we can make really good informed decisions and have a really good clear picture of where we're actually sitting. So I think when it comes down to owning a successful salon or your version of a successful salon, so in the comments, tell me what your version of a successful salon is. What does that look like to you? And I think there's a slow delay. So bear with me while I go through because the comments aren't showing up on my other screen. No. So what is your version of a successful salon? Might be easier if I go on my phone. Totally based on what I can pay myself. Yeah. A healthy bank account, happy staff, fully booked columns, lifestyle balance. Yeah. All those. So there is no right or wrong because when it comes to building your successful salon, that is entirely what it is for you. So everyone is different. So, you know, I think when we think of our version of a successful salon, we can get caught up in what we see going on around us, and we can see other salon owners and other salon businesses and think that is what we need to be doing. Like we need to be having, you know, maybe if you're a, you know, a stylist, you want to put beauty therapy in there, or maybe if you've got, you know, 2 stylists, you want to have 4 stylists, and, you know, or maybe if you're at home, you want to go out to a bigger premises. And I think sometimes we get caught up in doing what we think we need to without realizing what really does make us happy. So, you know, for instance, I know that over COVID, I don't want to say that word, over that time, I know that some salons that were, or spas and beauty clinics that were out in premises decided that, you know, that really wasn't what they want. They were actually far more profitable and, you know, happier when they had less team and were working from their home because they had the ability, you know, with, you know, whatever it is, how they do it at home, whether they had, you know, a self-contained unit or whatever. So I think it's really important that when we are trying to create our successful mindset, that we are looking at what it is that really makes us successful. What is our version of success? So it was really funny. This morning I picked up my phone and I have motivational quotes that come up on my phone. And this morning's one was staying positive doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. It means even on hard days, you know that there are better ones coming. So I think sometimes we get caught up in thinking that we have to, you know, a positive mindset and, you know, especially when you're a business owner and you're going in and you've got team members, you feel like you have to be on your game all the time. You have to be happy all the time. And it's not necessarily about being happy all the time. It is knowing that something else is happening, you know, so there are better days coming. So, you know, when I say we just talked about a successful salon, what is your version of a successful salon? What is your version of a successful mindset? What does a successful mindset look like for you? I can see there's a real delay. Well, Mandy, you got a rainy day. I can't see if anyone. Being optimistic and not negative. Yeah, that's real good. Hey, Chrissy. Oh, positive, happy, and peaceful, Caroline. I like that. What's peaceful? I love that word. Feeling positive regardless of the current situation. That's definitely it. So when it comes to developing a successful mindset, that doesn't happen overnight. That is something that is worked on continuously. And some days are better than others. Let's be realistic. It's something that you have to constantly work on. And there's challenges that happen in life, like things come up and things are going to frustrate you. They're going to annoy you. They're going to, damn right, pee off. Like those are the things that can happen in life, but it's how we react to it and what we're thinking to ourselves. So everything is a story that we tell ourselves. So if somebody does something, we start to begin to tell ourselves a story, or if circumstances happen, we start to begin to tell ourselves a story about that. And that's normally a story that has come from, a past pattern or a past belief. So one of the, probably one of the biggest things that can hold us back, and give me a why, a yes if you agree, or a why, or a no if you don't, but one of the biggest things that can hold us back from creating a successful mindset and creating our successful salon is fear. It's the F word, but the fear. If you think there's another one, then let me know. But I would have to say it's fear stops us from doing the things that we want to do. Like fear stops us from, yeah, Amanda. It's fear of failure. That's another one that can stop us. Yeah, fear. So fear, you want to get comfortable with fear, because fear can be your friend, but you have to learn not to control that fear. So one of the most powerful questions that I got asked was, if you could not fail, what would you do differently in your business today? So write it in the comments. If you could not fail, what would you do in your business? What would you do differently in your business? I just liked my own post. How funny is that? By accident. So what would you do differently in your business today if you knew that you couldn't fail? Good morning, Ange. Not sure if anyone's written anything. Can't see. So no one would, it looks like no one has written anything. So maybe, they're not allowing fear to get in their way. I'll go back and check in a minute. But when we talk about fear of failure, does it come from what we're thinking? Because fear is actually a really good thing. So fear can keep us safe. So if we think about when we're in danger, we have this internal radar that goes off that keeps us safe. And that's fear, just going, you're in danger, you need to get out of here. But also fear has another way, that's the fear of danger. But when we're talking about fear in business and everyday life, fear is based around our ego. So we feel like our ego is there, which is fear, trying to keep us safe. So when we think about making a bold move, or when we think about, oh, I'm going to do this in my business, or I'm going to do this in the business, and then you get really excited, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but what happens if this happens? But what happens if this happens? Anyone agree? Like, do you have this really good, great idea and think, oh, I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden, or I'm going to hire this person, or I'm going to do this in the business, and then you're excited about it, then all of a sudden this voice in your head is just like, oh, but what if this happens, or maybe not, or, and then you let it peter out and you don't follow through with it. That's because we're letting our ego keep us safe. So what happens is, no transformations happen in our safe zone. So if you're wanting to take your salon to the next level, or if you're wanting to get to the next level, or you're wanting to get your team to the next level, it's about getting them out of that safe zone. It's about and you've got to understand that people's egos are there to protect them. They want to keep them safe. They don't want them to fail. They don't want them to get hurt. They don't want them to get upset, all these sorts of things. But what is it that, you can do to talk to your fear and just go, one of the things that I've learned to do is when I do things like going on this challenge, for instance, and doing this challenge, and coming into here live, I could have let fear get in my way and go, oh, Tony, what are you doing that for? Or what if you muck up your words? Or what if, what if nobody shows up? What if nobody watches it? If I got into all that and told myself that story because that's what my ego was saying, because that's going to keep me safe, then I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to help as many people as I can help. I'm not going to do. So this is what you got to think about when you're in your business and you're doing things. What is it that's going to get you to that next level? Maybe it's an income bracket that you want to break. You've got this glass ceiling, you keep doing that week after week after week. Why are you doing that week after week and not breaking the next level? What is it that you are going to do differently to get through there and not allow fear to get into your way? Does that make sense? Do it, Caroline. Yes, I can see some things. Let me get back in here. That's a hard question. It is a really hard question, Caroline, but it's a question that I think is super powerful and can bring a whole lot of clarity around it. And I would move into a commercial premises and take the risk, but the fear of financial loss stops me. But what if you didn't have financial loss? What if your finances were so abundant that it was the best move that you could ever make? And we're so used to going to what if something doesn't work? Instead of going, what if it does? What if I fly? What if I am amazing at this? What if this is the best damn thing that ever happens to me? You've just got to do it. Obviously, when I say you've just got to do it, that's easy sitting here saying things like just do it. But what I mean is you need to make decisions. You need to make decisions based on the information that you have, and then make a decision that goes, yes. So for Ange, moving into, bigger premises or commercial premises, maybe it's like, okay, I need to look at this. This is what I'm doing now. This is what I need to get to in order for that to happen. I would do it tomorrow. I would move, yeah, do it. Oh Lordy, everything I want to do gold list is huge. Cool. Because, when you think about your dreams weren't given to you just for the sake of giving them to you. They were given to you because you can make them happen. They're your dreams. They're not my dreams. They're not somebody else's dreams. They are your dreams. And the only person that is passionate about your dreams is you. It's not your partner's dream. Like for my husband, it's not his dream to have this business, but he supports me in it. It's not his dream by any means. He finds the whole business world quite different, and if you've got a salon and your partner, you feel like your partner's not being supportive or as passionate about you, it's because it's not his dream or her dream. You have to think about, that it's your dream and that you have to go after it and you have to make things happen. And so sometimes you have to get out of your own way. And that can be a real challenge. Just trying to see if there's any more comments. It's a little bit hard to keep. So when you think about like, okay, our ego, how can we talk to our ego, and how can we say, okay, thank you, like this, what I say, thank you for trying to keep me safe. I hear you, but I'm going to take the leap anyway. I'm going to back myself. And so when those things that come up, like, oh, maybe Tony, I have a brilliant idea, because I have lots of brilliant ideas. And then, some of them peter out, some of them don't. But those ones that stick there, those little whispers, and then my ego starts to go, Tony, what if that doesn't work? Or Tony, what if no one buys that? Or, okay. But if I believe in it, and if it's something that I really want to do, and I have the means to do it, then I'm going to go for it. I'm going to give it a go, because how do you know if it doesn't until you try? And look at you all, like, I just think, look at you all. How far have you all come already in your salon journey? Like, how long have you been salon owners? Like, pop it in the comments, tell me, like, because I know that you have come so far. You all, like, we all think about going this next mile, where we have to go, but we forget to look at how far we've actually come. What about if lack of marketing knowledge also stops you from growing? There's people out there that have that knowledge that can help you, so don't let that hold you back, because one of the things is that when you own a business, you're not a master of all these things. You really aren't. Like, you're great at doing hair, you're great at, being a therapist. This is the stuff that you've been taught, but you haven't been to marketing school. You've not been qualified. You haven't been to, social media management. You haven't been to, these things as well. So you put all this pressure on yourself to be this person that does 110 things. Nobody else is doing that. We're so hard on ourselves in this industry that we think we have to do everything. We have to work on the floor. We have to be, a great manager. We have to take care of the HR. We have to see the reps. We have to, it's too much. Like, there are people out there that are qualified. And I know that the fear is like, well, how do I afford that? So, you have to think about, okay, so if I'm going to hire somebody, or do a program that's going to cost me $99 a week, okay, I have to make an extra $400 a month. Okay, how can I do that? That will be selling 7 retail products. Can I sell an extra 7 retail products this month to warrant me paying that $99? Now, if you really, really want that $99 course or whatever it is, you're going to make sure that you sell those damn 7 products. So there's always, like, it's easy to keep yourself like going, okay, but what if I can't afford this yet? But what is a way that you can afford it? What do you have to do to be able to reach there? 11 years in my current business. Happy birthday, Caroline. 11 years. Oh, look at all those ones. Amanda, what about there? Having faith in my abilities has always got me through my dreams. Yep, you've got to back yourself. There's so many different salons over the past 25 years, current salon, almost 2 years. Yeah, and Liz, you've shifted countries. So amazing. And yes, Caroline, you're right. Like, having faith in yourself. Like, I really want to encourage you to back yourself, because you have come so far already. 11 years in business, like, that is huge. 25 years in business, that's huge. 2 years in business, some businesses don't even make it that far. Like, you have what it takes. Your dreams are there for you to take them. The other thing that can stop us from, and fear comes into this, and it was really big for me too back in when I owned my salon as well. And sometimes it does rear its ugly head now, but it's fear of what other people will think. So I remember when I owned my salon, I didn't tell anyone that I owned a salon. I didn't say who, or anything, because, what if they'd been there and they didn't like it? What if, they've never heard of me? What if, and all these things of what ifs, and it was all what if negative. And I didn't tell anybody for a long time that was, my salon, and, and I was really proud of it. But it's the fear of what people will think. And that can stop us from making moves, and it can stop us from making really big moves. And it's not only fear of what other salon owners will think or other people, but it's our friends and our loved ones as well. And, I brought my salon in 2008. It was the middle of a recession. Um, and the amount of negative comments that I received, like, what was I doing? Do I know what I'm doing? Why would you do that? All these negative comments from especially my loved ones, um, was really hard to hear, because I felt like if they didn't believe in me, how was I supposed to believe in myself? Can anyone relate? um, However, although that was the most, I took the attitude of, like, I was really hurt, but then I took the attitude, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you what I can do in the middle of a recession with an 8-month-old baby, and no family around. I can show you what I'm going to do, and that's exactly what I did. It wasn't all like roses from the start. Believe you me, there was a few rocky roads. Um, and I think sometimes we can let what our family say affect us, and we just want their approval, and we want them to be proud of us, and all these sorts of things. But at the end of the day, what they think or what anybody else thinks of us is actually none of our business. And that was a real huge eye opener for me back in, I think 4 or 5 years ago. I was told by my coach at the time that what somebody else thinks of you is actually none of your business. And it is so true, because what they think, that's on them. Like, you know, if they're thinking a negative thought about you, what does that say about them? You know, I I just think it's really profound when we start thinking about, actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And if a loved one is thinking, they're not saying they're proud of you, it doesn't mean that they're not, because some people just don't say that. But it's just like, that is who they are. That is, we get to accept it, or we can be annoyed and frustrated by it, because they're not annoyed and frustrated by it. It's us that get annoyed and frustrated by it. So we can just go, you know what, that's who they are, and that's cool. Like, I'm going to get on with me. I'm going to get on with building my wildly successful salon. I'm going to get on with building, my dream life and having the success that I want, that I choose to have, and that you forge your own path for. So when I look back and think about how I could have let fear stop me from, taking this business to the next level, and showing my family and showing, people that, yeah, I can do this. Like, I'm not from the industry. Like, I'm the first to tell you, like, I'm not a stylist, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, or a nail technician or esthetician. Like, I'm not. But I knew how to run a business. And, I remember it must have been day 3 in my salon. We were painting one of the walls. I digress. And I can remember thinking, I actually remember with a hairbrush thinking, when I was little, I wanted to own my own salon. And I had forgotten about it all these years. And then here I am sitting, standing in my salon, painting the walls and thinking, my God, I did it. Like, we have these dreams that sometimes we forget about, but they're there and they come up, and you're achieving it now. Like, you had a dream to own a salon and you did it. So now you want to take it to the next level, or you want to, just grow a little bit more, or whatever it is that your goal or vision is there for you, and it's there for the taking. You just have to go after it, okay, and not let fear get in your way, just like me. So, in 2008, middle of a recession, no one's spending money on hair and beauty, Tony. Like, why are you doing that? Well, the first 6 months were really rocky. And, hence why we're doing this challenge, because I can remember what it was like. And obviously, talking to lots of salon owners, some of those same things are missing now. But it was really rocky those first 6 months. And then I started to not let fear get in my way. And I started to work on some foundational pieces, which we'll go over the next couple of days, 3 or 4 days. And I managed to turn my salon around. And in under 12 months, I know some of you know this, that I built a 6-figure salon under 12 months. And, you know, we got nominated for business awards and all that sort of stuff, which was absolutely fantastic. And I showed people that, you know, in a recession, you can excel. And one of the other things that I probably didn't buy into was, you're in a recession, Tony. You can't make money in a recession. Everyone was telling me that. But instead, I chose to think about it in a different light and thinking, you know, how can I make this work? What can I do? What is my target market looking for? What does my target market want? And then we developed our marketing plan around that. And, you know, we had really phenomenal results. And I'm going to share that stuff in another couple of calls. So another super powerful question is, and this can be a real game changer if you really sit with us, and, you know, I'm going to get you to comment on it if you can, but you may want to sit with it later after, you know, over a cup of coffee. But what does your ideal day look like for you? Do you know what that looks like? You know, for me, walking on the beach, seeing the sunrise is a really cool thing that I'd love to do every day. Can I do it every day? No, because, you know, I have a husband that works shift work and a 13-year-old at home that I don't leave at home, so by herself. So can I do that? No, but that's what my ideal day looks like. Can I make that happen on some days? Yes, that's how I start to make my day. But what does your ideal day look like for you? Are you in your salon working 8 hours a day, or are you in there for, you know, maybe 3 days a week, and you have a team? You know, what does your ideal day look like? Do you, if you've got young kids, are you home at, you know, at school? Are you picking them up from school? You know, what does it look like for you? Tell me in the comments. Oh, thanks, Caroline. Yes, and it's time to bloom. Yes. Hour to hour. Love it, Liz. Yes, some people do find your success threatening, and that's on them. Oh, thank you. I'm pretty passionate about this stuff, in case you hadn't noticed. It's, yeah. I just see so many people sitting back who have so much potential, that can achieve so much, and their fear is holding them back. So that's the last thing that I want to happen. So, you know, I'm cheering you all on. I'm really encouraging you to get out of your comfort zones. But I want to touch on another subject as well, which all relates to the success mindset and creating a successful mindset. And that is really about your beliefs. One of the biggest hurdles that we have to jump over, because sometimes it is a jump, it's a leap, is our beliefs. And sometimes we don't actually know where those beliefs have come from. For example, you might feel like in your business, nothing is good enough. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you're getting the same old results. Like, it's a bit of like treading water. And you just feel like, oh, why bother? Or, you know, I've tried that, I'm not going to do it again. Or, you know, it's just not good enough. You know, you can't get to that next level. You can't pay yourself any more of what you know, want, or what you deserve. Or, you know, it's just like, it's a little bit frustrating. So we need to think about, where do those beliefs come from? Because sometimes we don't even know that we have those beliefs. So for instance, you might have run a couple of promotions that didn't go well. So you're like, it's not good enough, that doesn't work. No. Or you've hired a couple of team members who in the end haven't been the best team members. Or you can't pay yourself what you want or what you deserve. But it can actually go a little bit deeper than this. And I don't want to open a can of worms, but I'm telling you, or sharing this with you, because I want you to, when you have a minute, to just sit down and think about this. But sometimes these beliefs have come from our childhood. Sometimes it could be, and if we're just talking about the scenario of not feeling like I'm good enough, it could be that, you know, a parent never gave you the praise that you thought that you should get, or never recognized anything that you did, or maybe you did some jobs around the house but it was just an expectation of thank you, or maybe you did really well at sport and they were just like, it's just the norm. So there was nothing like that, and this is just a pure example. So that belief that you're not good enough can come from that. So when you do something in your business and it doesn't work, you're automatically thinking, I'm not good enough. And that can be really hard and really challenging. And it's a belief that is really stuck in there. And we have to identify what these beliefs are in order to be able to change them. So when something happens, when you have a thought in your business that is like a negative thought, then I want you to think about, where has this come from? Like, it could be like could be as simple as you make lunch for your team members, and or you buy them something for your team members every Saturday, like it could be cupcakes or whatever, but there's no thanks for it. So it feels like whatever you do is just not good enough. So when we think about it and we think, it could be just that, or it could go back to our childhood, and you'd be surprised at how much goes back to our childhood. There's two things, or a little bit more than two. If it's things that are happening in your salon that you've tried, like you've run a promotion and it didn't work, but you were counting on that money, right? And it didn't work, all those counting on those clients. All it is that you run a promotion and it didn't work. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that, your business is not worth it. It doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that that promotion didn't go as well. Didn't go. That's it. Nothing more. But what can you learn from that? So is it a promotion that you've done a couple of times and you still get the same results, but you're not changing anything? Is it, that you hired somebody and they were a bad egg, but you go through the same hiring process all the time? So if you're not going to identify these things are going to keep showing up in your world until you learn those lessons. And the other thing is, if those beliefs do stem back to, our childhoods, because I carry some, you want to think about, my parents did the best that they could with the tools that they had. In general, most people do things because they think they're doing the right thing, or that's all they have to give. So some of the things that I've had to look at in my childhood have gone, what? My dad did his best with the tools that he had. Like, what he was showing was, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. And he did the best that he could. My mum did the best that she could, and I do the best that I can with my kids. Will I always get it right? Maybe not. But, it's about going, okay, I've identified that belief. Okay, I don't want to take that with me anymore. Okay, I'm good. Let's forgive them. Let's move on. They did the best that they can. And then that way, you're not taking on anything from the past. You're leaving it where it is and you're moving forward. And you've identified that belief, and now you can not be caught up in that pattern. You can identify it and move on. So one of the other good things about this, and if it's something simple that's happening in your salon that's not working, or identifying these beliefs, you can have a positive affirmation that you can say. So when you decide that, well, not when you decide, when you notice that you have these thoughts, you can choose an affirmation that you're going to say like 5-10 times, and you've got to really sit there and you've got to believe it. and you've got to feel it. And, if your tears well up in your eyes because it's that real for you, then that's great. It means that you're changing those patterns. Okay, so choose an affirmation, find an affirmation that's going to work with you, for you, that you can learn to change those patterns with. Because once you identify those beliefs, and once you can deal with them, they're not going to hold you back. It's like fear. They're not going to hold you back. So I hope that resonates with you. I hope you can find an affirmation. I've actually got some affirmations that we are going to be putting up in the Facebook group. It's a cutout, so you can print it off and you can cut it out and you can put it on your vision board. You can put it on your fridge. You can put it on your bathroom mirror. Whatever it is that is going to make you happy and that you're going to see it every day and you're going to tell yourself, so that you can believe in yourself. And it doesn't matter what anybody else has said in the past or done or thinks of you now, because who cares? This is about you and living your life and getting your dreams, turning your dreams into reality. We're only here for a short time. Like, have fun with this. Find what makes, follow the joy. If there's a part in your business that doesn't make you happy, what can you do to outsource this? What can you do to make sure that you don't have to why do something that makes you unhappy? So much more out there. Right, just let me go. 4 and then 3 days finish. Let me go through some of these. Following out 3 to 4 days, week back to clients, start with a cuppa, stretching with the animals around me, and making sure everything is running smoothly in the well. Beautiful. 4 days in salon, love being there, about to come off the floor to spend time with staff and clients, marketing and business systems. I love that, Caroline. That's awesome. And then 3 days fishing. Oh, go. Awesome. I'm loving it. Okay. So just remember that whatever is happening, what beliefs that you are telling yourself, that's the story that you're telling yourself. If somebody says something, you're telling yourself a story. Change that story, change that belief, and you'll change your life. Okay, change the patterns. And don't let anything mean any more than what it is. Like, I've run a promotion, I didn't get as many people as I would have liked. That's it. What can I learn from here? It doesn't mean that you're bad, or don't tell yourself a story, okay? You get to choose. So don't choose to tell yourself a negative story. Choose to say, oh, well, that didn't work. What can I learn now? What can I do for next time? So be very, very mindful about what you tell yourself. Okay, so the other thing with creating a successful mindset is your why. So I get told so many times what people's whys are. So I ask them, what gives you that fire in the belly to get up in the morning? What drives you? What gets you excited to get out of bed in the morning? What are those things that get you going, like excite you? Like, I wake up every morning excited about what the day is going to bring. Like, and I'm up early and I don't get up to an alarm, but I just love that part because I'm just excited about the day. And who can I help today, or who can I be a service to? What can I bring to the table today with my clients? All that sort of stuff. So what drives you? What is your why? Like, I know lots of people will say the financial freedom, and freedom is a real motivator for me. So I get that, but there's more to it than that. You are where you are for a reason. What is that reason? Identifying what your why is going to help you get real clarity around, like, what it is that you're doing. What is your goal? When we talked about right at the start, and I talked about what would you do in your business today if you knew you couldn't fail? This is going to help give that clarity. What is it? What is your why? Like, for freedom, for me, that talks about like going on and walking on the beach in the morning and watching the sunrise. That's freedom for me. What is what is your driver? Maybe it's, oh, there's so many different reasons it could be, but what is your why? What is, and I don't want it all to be like, I encourage you not to make it all financial, because financial freedom is definitely another one. But so I'm motivated by freedom as such. I don't like to be tied down. Um, and I like freedom to express myself, and a lot of stylists and therapists are like that because it's creative. So what it is, like nurturing people, there's so many aspects to what is your why. And when you can get real clarity around why you dive out of bed in the morning, some of us may not dive, but we get up. Why, what is that fire in your belly? Like, what excites you? If you're not feeling that in your business, then I want you to really think about what is your why? What are you doing this for? Again, we can get so bogged down and I've got to be a social media manager, I've got to do the HR, I've got to do, the marketing, I've got to do this and I've got to do this, that you can lose what your why is because you're treading water, you're just going through the motions. And I want you to think about, what was it like when you started your salon? What was that excitement like? What were your dreams? Go back to that and revisit it. And because when you can clarify your why, then you start to get telling yourself better stories and changing those belief patterns. And then your fear, you become friends with, and it doesn't end up controlling you. You control your fear. So really visit what your why is. And if you've got your why, share it in the comments. I'm always keen to know. I'm always excited to cheer you on and help you achieve. Now, the last thing I want to end on, so we talked about fear, we talked about beliefs, and we talked about your why. And now this one is really about creating a practice. So at the beginning, I talked about how successful mindset is not created overnight. It's something that takes practice. And it's not something that I've always had. It's something that I continuously work on. And really honest, some days are better than other days, but my majority of days are more positive. Uh, so there are so many things that you can do in a practice. And I know that there's so many people out there telling you that you should journal, that you should meditate, that you should, all these sorts of things. But it's about finding something that works for you. For some people, it might just be going and having a cup of coffee on the beach. For some people, it could be spending, 20 minutes, half an hour meditating, which is great. It could be listening to a visualization. It's about finding some practices that work for you so you can have a morning and evening routines. Like morning and evening routines are fantastic, and I'm a real big advocate of them. However, I know it's not for everybody, but unless you try something and you start to make it a habit, how do you know if it's going to work? Now, it's really easy when you've got children and partners and everything going on, that it's really easy to say, I don't have the time. But in fact, we all have the time if we make it a priority. So if that means getting up 15 minutes earlier so that you can read for 15 minutes, if that means getting up 15 minutes earlier because you want to do some tapping, EFT, get up 15 minutes earlier, to see what works for you. There's visualizations, and there's so much visualization out there that's free on YouTube, that can help you find something that works for you. There's hypnosis in there, there's meditation, there's journaling, there's visualization, EFT, tapping, affirmations, mantras. Like, what is it that you can do? Can you put them on your mirror? Can you say something, write out an affirmation 5 times in the morning? Some of these things don't take long, but as you begin to make them a habit, they become your practice. For me, having a nighttime ritual is really good. Like, one of the things that I love to do is have a bath. If I don't have a bath, I definitely have a shower. I just love that whole thing with some bath salts or bath bombs, or it's just really relaxing for me. It means that I can switch off for a little bit, and it's calm. Like, I also get on one of those acupuncture mats. Like, it's something I do. Some nights I like to listen to a hypnosis when I'm going to sleep, or have subliminals going in the background, or, there's lots of different things that you can do to start to form a practice. Now, I talk about a lot of them, but I'm not asking you to do a lot of them. I'm just try one. Just try one and see how that works for you. I have a journal prompt that I can give you too, that you can use. And I'll give that to you in a minute. But the other thing is too, like, it may not be doing some journaling, it may not be doing some meditation, maybe that's just not your thing, and that's cool. But maybe listening to a podcast or listening to an audible when you go for a walk, or probably not want to run, you want something a little bit more upbeat, but listening to those, or reading a book. There's so many great books out there, like, that just get you to see something from a different point of view. And you might read something in one book and it might just open up a whole new world to you. So find something that works for you. If you're not a reader, like I love reading books, like I love the feel of them and all that, but I also like, when I go for a walk, I like to have an audible in my ear now, so I do that, or a podcast. So here is the journal prompt I will share with you. And it's around business, and it's around, because I've chosen one probably around financial, because I know that some people are having a really hard time. It's a bit of a challenge, and I really just wanted to give you something to help you. So today, I'm so happy and grateful now that my business is thriving, abundant, and wildly successful. I love knowing that my business makes a minimum of, and insert whatever it is, the amount you want, a monthly income. So that can be a journal prompt that you use. So if there's anything that I want you to take away from this session, is that you are worthy, you can build the salon of your dreams, you are more than capable, and most of all, I want you to believe in yourself and go after it. I want you to go away from here and have a think about the things that you would do if you knew that you couldn't fail. Okay, we've got a workbook that we will be putting up into the group for you shortly, along with the affirmations as well, that you can work through as well. Plus, you've got to do your assignment. So if you aren't getting our emails, email info@successfulsalons.co.nz, and we will make sure that you are getting our emails. I will pop it up in the Facebook group as well, so everything is there. So then when you do put your takeaways in and what your homework is, then you will go into the draw to win one of those prizes, which I'll draw tomorrow on tomorrow's live. And please adopt the thought of what somebody else thinks of you is none of your business. And tomorrow we'll be chatting all about business foundations. So then on Wednesday we are chatting all about business fundamentals, and then Thursday is money breakthrough, and then Friday I will be answering all your questions, so make sure you got them. Remember to put in your homework, or your assignments. I promise you it's not that much, I promise you. Thank you for being here. I have absolutely loved my time talking to you about creating that success mindset. I've loved hanging out with you, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you.